You're tuned into the Community Hour on NuSound Radio and 92 FM with myself, Nish. And I do have Rani Moorthy on the line, who is a Sri Lankan Tamil-born in Malaysia and now living in the UK. And she's now making a one-woman show which looks at a lot of different things. So, hi, Rani.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Good. Just rather busy and just looking forward and really excited to perform.
Yes, thank you very much for taking the time out to talk to us. I know you're busy with rehearsals.
That's okay.
But can you tell the listeners a bit about your play and what inspired you to both write and perform in a one-person's play?
Well, I have a company called Rasa, and so I've been doing one-person shows for about, a good part of 14 years now, so touring up and down the country and internationally. Mm-hmm. This particular area and this particular story goes right to the heart of my family, my generations of family, stories that they told me growing up in Malaysia about Sri Lanka, and especially about the north of Sri Lanka, Jaffna, where my grandparents and great-grandparents come from. And it's often, the sense of being so far away from your homeland, and yet the stories are very much part of your DNA. And so when you start to see images on television and in the news about people who look like you, who could be members of your family, suffering and looking at you into the camera through barbed wire, and, the kind of devastation that goes on, one cannot ignore. And certainly for me, it went right to the heart of what I am and what I am about. And when the North fell in 2009, I was actually on holiday in Budapest. Mm-hmm. So I just want to, sort of fill you in on how sometimes, you kind of ignore certain things in your life and it just comes back and hits you. Yeah. And I was there watching the CNN footage of what was going on with the people, with children, with women, with the older people. Just take away the politics for a minute. Just look at the human condition. And you cannot help but feel a kind of connective tissue with people like looking like me. Mm-hmm. And I went downstairs and I had Hungarian goulash, and the tears just fell. I mean, it was such a personal response to a food that reminded me of Sunday lunches in Malaysia with uncles cooking this stew called kool that comes right from Sri Lanka. So over 150 years of living in Malaysia, and yet we were still eating something that goes right to the heart of our culture. And it just kind of really made me aware that, this history might be forgotten. It might be just a food, a recipe, but it's their connection with things that are really important and worthwhile remembering and keeping, that makes us human, and not what makes us different. What unites us is something very basic like food. So kool is a stew. It's incredibly Tamil, so you can't get more Tamil than that, I think. So I found food is an incredible metaphor. Stew, the kool is a kind of peasant food, but it's also something that is an emblem of survival, because during the monsoon rains, when all the harvest is finished, and the Jaffna Peninsula is surrounded by sea, so you get seafood, but you also get the superfood, which comes from the root of the palmyra tree. So the root is used to thicken the stew and give you a lot of nourishment. So in a way, it kind of really spoke to me, and I wanted to share it. And I knew I couldn't do it in a conventional theater where audience sits comfortably and watches as if this is so distanced from you. This is, particularly to Rani, and it's particular to the suffering of Sri Lanka, all Sri Lankans, and it's nothing to do with me. Mm-hmm. When actually, if you go back further in history, we all know that historically so much of present-day conflicts is due to decisions and politics that happened hundreds of years ago. So and about maps and about dividing people and dividing tribes, and I think that it really spoke to me, and I wanted to share it, and I wanted to share it in a space that allowed the audience to experience just for a few, just for an hour or two, or maybe a few minutes, just what it feels like to have no mobile phones, no access to anything, but in a slightly less comfortable arena than a theater. So this is why the South Bank very kindly invited me to do it as a sighted piece in the underground boiler room. It's quite an extraordinary space. So the audience travels with me as if they are war tourists, and they have a part to play really in the storytelling. That's how I like to do one-word shows. Yeah.
So it captures the audience more as
I
well.
think so, and I hope it sort of people can find parallels, and because it's so easy to dismiss news footage and dismiss suffering. Sometimes we kind of have this kind of fatigue, don't we, of devastating news. So so we just don't want to hear it, especially in difficult times like this. We sort of feel that we want only wonderful escapist stories. But at the same time, I really don't want people to come and feel that they are going to the theatre on a downer.
Yeah.
It's really a human story. It's about this old woman and her family, and she's got family spread around the world, like a lot of Tamils do. The diaspora is huge, and it's really her inviting the audience to sort of really look at her life. And when you look at and examine one person's life that's been touched by war, then you realize that there, for the grace of God, go I, because it could easily happen. And it's all about an invitation to the audience to just pay attention to your life, pay attention to things that you think only the politicians can decide upon. You have the power, and you have, as a single person, have the power to change your destiny, which is what I hope the positive message of the play. And I really, I'm the kind of performer, I really do want to have an entertaining evening. I really don't want it to be about war and devastation. That's not the point of it. It's the point of really touching a kind of human thread that joins us all.
So you said it's going to be in a boiler room in the South Bank Centre. So how many people will be able to fit inside the room and watch you perform?
So we've said between 30 to 40. So because I really think that it's that intimacy and that power of just touching each other and being close to each other and being able to really experience it in the complete fullness of it. I'm also making cool. It will be already made. Obviously, I can't cook out there because of health and safety, but it'll be made. And they'll get to taste a bit of the stew, which, and I take them on a journey, really. All down. I mean, it's a huge space. And so it's just a unique experience.
So not only are you performing in it solo, you've also written it. Was it difficult writing, or did it come quite naturally? Have you written anything before?
No, writing doesn't come naturally to me, I'm afraid. I'm not one of those writers who it seems to just flow out of them. I especially this one, because it's connected to stories that my father told me and my uncles, all of whom have passed away, and so it's in a way you're kind of having conversations with the ghosts of your family, really, and the ghosts of your people. So you can imagine how emotional that is. And so I can just about talk about it now, because then the actress kicks in, and then you've got to detach yourself from the writing and just sort of perform it. And that process is quite a difficult one, especially with this show. At the same time, I don't want to give, that the idea that this has all been doom and gloom. It's been incredibly celebratory. And it really goes at the heart of what some people, I suppose, believe, that that actually we are, as a human race, we ultimately appreciate and really are drawn to what we share as human beings rather than difference. And I think that my work has been testament to that, in the fact that this very prestigious venue has kind of responded and really appreciated my work and have embraced it and given me the free rein underground, and it's been a great testament to storytelling, really.
Yeah, no, it definitely does sound like a very exciting and also a moving play as well.
Yeah, and I think young people need to see it, especially because I think that we get so lost in current affairs, and we forget that there's a kind of historical connections to a lot of pain that I think young people are facing at the minute across the board, just because I think there are cultural and historical facts and knowledge that doesn't get passed down, because we just don't have time to tell the stories the way my grandparents and parents sat and told us all about what back home was like, or just how they lived. And I don't mean it in a nostalgic kind of people's history kind of way. I mean in a real way, where it almost becomes a part of your makeup, so that that knowledge and that it becomes embedded in your DNA and never gets lost. And I think it's so important to preserve that.
Yeah, that definitely is important. I know for some young people living in England, there's also that language barrier with their grandparents as well.
Yep.
So
that's a beautiful point, because I think I automatically feel very emotional when I hear Tamil, even though I don't speak it well. And in 2003, I was invited by the British Council to go to Sri Lanka to perform in the war zone. So I was the first Tamil woman to perform there.
Wow.
And I remember doing workshops with groups of very traumatized young people who, obviously gone through, absolute hell, some of whom were raped and all sorts of things as children. And so they're there. And I'm using my broken Tamil, and I can't tell you how they appreciated that, because it is an instant connection. Even with my, because of, the accident of history and geography, I'm born in Malaysia and I speak Malay better than I do Tamil. But even then, it just felt that connection was so strong and powerful. And I'm sure I talk to young people here, Pakistanis, for whom Punjabi or Urdu is suddenly immediate, that understanding and the humor immediate, or Gujarati, there's a kind of connection. Even though you don't speak it well, it's attached to people, to faces, and that's what this play is about, really.
Definitely. So it looks like you've got a lot of experience and knowledge as well, which you've put all into this play.
Oh, I hope so.
It sounds like it.
Well, yeah, and it's the thing is, the process is ultimately fun. I don't want to sound as if I don't, enjoy it. It is a difficult. This particular one was a difficult journey, but I don't want that to translate to the audience. I want them to feel completely comfortable in my presence, which is what the beauty of a one-person show is sometimes, because it's like sitting down and having tea with your favorite aunt. That's what I want them to feel like, who doesn't take herself too seriously. So.
Yeah, no, I've seen a one-woman play before, and I feel like you're more engaged in what's going on, because you're just focusing on one character throughout the whole thing, so it definitely will be good.
Well, I do play 4 characters, including a Canadian rapper, a bit like MIA, so I've written a rap song and recorded it. It will be on the website very soon. So this is one of the grandchildren of this old woman, so she is a Canadian rapper, and it's in a way all the characters are a bit like me, or shades of me, because you didn't grow up in Sri Lanka, but even though you're so far away, the feeling and the emotion, it goes into your art. And in this girl's case, it went into her hip hop.
Yeah.
And hip hop and rap, as you may know, with a lot of protesters, especially in the Middle East and in various parts of the world, the young people have turned to hip hop music to express their political feelings. So it's going back to the history of hip hop and how it was very much underground and very much about the politics before the bling bling came into play. So I just had a real hoot writing a rap number and performing it with a Tamil rapper, and he's very well known in London, called Sujit, and both of us just performed this, and it's pretty out there. So it's part of the play.
That's great. So when will that be online, did you say?
Hopefully, as we speak.
I'll definitely make sure I listen to that.
In both my website and in the South Bank website, because I think it'll be really nice to sort of put it out there that this is not, kind of the kind of theatre that, young people will not enjoy.
So for those that want to listen to it, what's your website?
Okay, it's www.rasatheatre, that's all one word, .co.uk.
Okay, and when will you be performing, and when will it be available to the audience to buy tickets?
We open on the 12th, so that's, oh my gosh, 9 days from now. It's over from Thursday to Sunday, and I do matinees as well on Saturday and Sunday. And then I have a little break, thank goodness, and then the next weekend again from Thursday to Sunday. And I do 2 shows on a Saturday and 2 shows on a Sunday, because I do a matinee at 3 o'clock on a Saturday and Sunday. It's slightly confusing, but it's if you think of it as from the 12th to the 22nd, and then have a look at the website. It's just to make sure that it's convenient for people who prefer to go out to the theatre in the weekend or on a Friday night. Yeah.
So will people be able to buy tickets for the show on your website?
On the website. Everything is, And, don't be late because it's a sighted piece. We all have to go down together and meet me downstairs. And it'll just be exciting 1 hour. I don't want it to be too long because, it's promenade. So there are a few seats here and there, but the idea is that it's this old woman's bunker. And she lives underground and she's hiding from people, various people. And so I don't want people to sort of feel discomfort, also. Not too much discomfort. I mean, at the same time, I didn't want them to feel too comfortable in the theatre, so it's a bit of a compromise. But they will certainly find it a genuinely unique experience. I know all performers say that, but this is going to be quite special.
No, definitely. It does sound amazing, and I will love to watch it as well.
Nish, please come
Yes,
down.
I definitely will.
It'd be lovely. Yeah,
I will. But thank you very much for
You're
taking
welcome.
time out. I know you're busy with rehearsals and everything, preparing for the show.
It's always a pleasure to get the news out there, and thank you for giving me that opportunity, because I know lots of people listen to you. So.
No, definitely. It sounds really great, and I really do hope that a lot of people do come and support you. And the website, again, if you'd like to remind everyone?
www.rasatheatre, that's all one word, RASA theatre.co.uk.
Okay, thank you very much, Rani, and wish you all the best with the show.
Thank you so much, Nish.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.